So, what we will be listening to in the background of this video. By the way, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for tolerating me for all these years. This is interesting. This is going to be a story. Not today. We won't get into that so much. This is a band from Singapore called Macaroni. The album's called Cremation. And yeah, that's that. Fucking rules. Fucking rules. I've got some pickups. I've got a lot of stuff coming in. So this is another episode of I Hate Money as Much as I Love Satan. So, lots of vinyl, lots of CDs, lots of good riffs. I just went up to Minneapolis. Look at this, laundry basket. I'm a professional YouTuber. I was up in Minneapolis last week to see Death to All and Suffocation. I missed Nukem, whatever. Didn't think I would like Death to All nearly as much as I did. Holy crap. I hope some of you guys got to check that tour out. It was phenomenal. Yeah, I just kind of got stuck in my own head about going to that. What's the... Without Chuck, it's not death. Yeah. Of course, I know this. But there was Gene Hoglan, Steve DiGiorgio, Bobby Coble, and this new kid who plays in Exist, which is an awesome band, playing the part of Chuck. I mean, everything was flawless. Even Suffocation were insanely flawless. I was so blown away by just the mastery of the instruments, the perfection of classic songs. It was so nostalgic. It really took me back. Like watching Steve DiGiorgio and Gene just kind of kick jokes back and forth to one another, and just remembering these songs that have been with me for the better part of my life. It was a really immersive time to go back. It made me feel like an old guy, but man, it was so good. Death played for like 2 fucking hours. And I got so much value out of that. Not to mention just hanging out with my friends, watching Death, yelling all the fucking lyrics and playing along all the riffs and stuff. It was a great time. I really needed that. And yeah, I don't know. I was confused about what Death to All was. I didn't know what Left to Die was. I just didn't really care. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I got to see Gene Hoglan play metal for like 2 hours. And, like, he's my favorite drummer. it has, in a way, kind of, it's given me a new approach to the discography of Death, I think. And I've been enjoying all of their stuff maybe more than I ever have. And that's so valuable as, you know, a music fan, to be able to enjoy old records in a new way, in a refreshing way. It was such a great experience. So I hit up a couple of record stores, so some of that is here. Some of it I haven't played all the way through, and you know the drill. But I visited Extreme Noise for one. The last time I was at Extreme Noise in Minneapolis, I didn't get anything. It was weird. I almost feel like I was in a mood or something. I don't know. I just couldn't find anything I wanted. But this time I blew my wad. So, first off, let's start here. So I walked into the store 5 minutes after they opened, and a record was playing. Didn't pay much attention to it, and the riffs started getting to me. And the riffs were good, and I didn't know what they were playing. Now, if you don't know, Extreme Noise is like a crust punk kind of, a crust punk record store. Kind of infamous, but they carry a shit ton of metal as well. So there's a lot of interesting, like, carryover, crossover, things that, you know, both my world and the crust punk world enjoy. And so what was playing, I was very unfamiliar with. I wasn't able to hear it, you know, super clearly, but I was really getting into the way that I was hearing what they were playing. And it sounded like South American. It sounded kind of like early Slayer. It sounded really barbaric, like something like Sarcophago. I was super curious about knowing what was playing, because I could not put my finger on what it was. And so what it was has made me kind of come to a new understanding and a new way to approach Bolt Thrower. Bolt Thrower I love, but I've had kind of a weird relationship with Bolt Thrower. I think it's worth having a longer conversation about for sure. But I have just completely avoided the first record since I heard it when I was probably 23 years old. And I was just like, this isn't for victory. This sounds like punk. Fuck this. I never want to hear it again. That has been my attitude up until like the last year or so. I put the album on my phone, but just I couldn't bring myself to play it. So what was playing in the background was not In Battle There's No Law, but it was the Peel sessions of The Thrower of Bolts. This fucking rules. Okay, guys. I don't really know. So this is songs from Realm of Chaos and In Battle There Is No Law. Originally released by Strange Fruit in, I don't know, look it up, 92 or some shit. No insert. I think this is like a bootleg because the original Strange Fruit version is out of print as fuck. But there's just nothing to look at here, so like you're not really missing anything. But this recording is so just untouched and so brazen and feral. It really just awakened my love for this band's early iteration really fucking well. So, man, it's just amazing. There's always shit out there that can blow your mind, and it's been right in front of you all the time. So what a cool thing. It also made me just remember that like record stores are super valuable. You can walk in and be playing. It's probably like 1 out of every 50 times I walk into a record store where I go, I like the music that's playing here. Do you have that experience too? It's usually like fucking some third-rate Elliott Smith shit or something. Anyways, if you haven't heard this and you love Bolt Thrower, do yourself a favor. This is just rotten and gnarly. But I'll tell you what. Upon putting this on, it didn't quite compare to what I thought I was hearing when I was, thumbing through CDs from a distance with my poor hearing. And I kind of feel like now that I want to find more things like what I had in my head at that moment. So I'm going to be like digging around for like feral, nasty, Slayer worshipping South American early death thrash kind of bands. If you have anything, let me know. But holy shit, this was great. What an awesome find. All right, I should shut up because we got a lot of stuff to get through. There was a zine there called Botched Orchidectomy, and I was kind of surprised that I've never heard of this, being that I'm friends with Joe, Nightmare Imagery, who does a lot of illustrations for Noxious Ruin and sang with Sugbog and lots of other things, and is really into like scene and stuff. I've never heard of this. It was limited to 200 copies, and there's a lot of art in here. Infested, is that what they're called? Yeah, Infested is a band I need to check out. I guess I always thought it was like Infester. There's a feature on Belial here. That was another super selling point. A lot of reviews. There's a Malignant Altar thing in here. I think this is maybe a year or two old, so just kind of a little bit on the dated side. Putrid Tomb is in here. Dodeskvad, I fucking love Dodeskvad. I can't wait to hear more they're doing. Oh yeah, and then this was another one. Fucking Aberration, is that what they're called? Abhorration. Holy shit, those guys are amazing. Norway is kicking out some really, really killer non-black metal stuff these days. Horrific, of course. There's an interview with Revenant in here. This thing rules, so pick that up for sure. So this was a purchase because of the Majesty's Heavy Metallurgy stream, and Tanner brought this up, and it's an album I never heard before until he mentioned this. So this is Vex Memorious, and he said this is the greatest United States melodic death metal album ever recorded. And that coming from the man himself, Tanner Anderson, means you buy it. So Eyewash Recordings put this out, which is like a brother label, not sister label, of Bindroom, the imitable Marty's label. So this is very, very, very good. I'm kind of surprised that, being that I'm friends with Jim from Iowa's, I'm friends with Marty. I have this band's other album, Sky Exile, and I regret that I haven't listened to it more, but it's just kind of an ilk that I don't ordinarily mess around with. But now that Majesty's has kind of like reinvigorated my love of this kind of thing, it was kind of fun to go back on this. This came out in 2012, so this is 12 years old now. Crazy to think of it. The artwork is really, really nothing much here. Insert-wise, there's nothing really, just black vinyl. But man, this is great. Riff salad all over the place. It's super eloquently riffed out and written and arranged. Hard to compare this to anything else, though. I don't know. But this drummer, Owen McCluskey, went on to play in Obsequiae and has sadly departed to Ireland. That sounded like... that came out wrong. But, yeah, if you're interested in hearing something kind of pre-Obsequiae adjacent, Vex Memorious. This was, I believe, $15, and it's 2 LPs. I believe it plays at 45. So, give this a listen, man. This is really, really good. So is the macaroni going on behind me. Speaking of Heavy Metallurgy streams, what was that? Is that lightning going on behind me? I think we're getting some storms. Speaking of the Heavy Metallurgy streams, you probably remember when we all fell in love with Cactarak. So yeah, we waxed poetic about this bitch for about an hour. It's fucking great. Sorry. Had to pick this up. So this was at Extreme Noise. It's weird. I really feel like this guy has taken a side shoot sort of flavor of black metal and just changed a few things about it and made it super palatable to a lot of people who maybe only merely dabble in a little bit of black metal. This guy is blowing up because of this album. The first one, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it. Felt like it wasn't quite a sound idea quite yet until Pale Swordsman. But man, if my endorsement changes your mind about it, like, I'm sure if you're all aware, I dabble in a little bit of the raw black metal these days, and I say a little bit because there's a fuck ton of that kind of stuff going on, and it's really hard to navigate what's original, what's good because it isn't original. This is kind of a little bit of both. It's like if Dark Throne was more made by like a suicidal teenager who was in love with somebody, and it's romantic and poetic and stuff. But it's really sincere and it's really believable and it's really great. Yeah. I did not expect to like that record nearly as much as I wound up. Okay, another thing that I found at Extreme Noise, the fucking punk mega center of the United States, Ethereal's Lord of the Night Realm. Second I saw this, I ripped it out of the shelf and came home with this guy. So I picked up the Nord reissue a couple, last year, 2 years ago. And I didn't know that this was reissued as well until a couple of months ago or so. And I just kind of forgot about it. But yeah, this thing absolutely rips. When it comes to like making Dark Funeral sound like a bunch of blithering dorks, this record does it. It's so fucking hellish. Oh, this thing rules. Takes me back to the Napalm days of being a black metal nerd. Look at that Lord Moloch, R.I.P. Yeah, great shit. Speedy black metal, memorable riffs, Infernal. Nothing more infernal than that. That does it for the LPs from Nuclear Extreme Noise. There's a couple of CDs in there too. This, boy, I'm gonna have to. Oh, Kostnatiny. So this is a Minneapolis black metal project. It's so great. Taking like traditional Turkish music and applying it to the black metal framework. It's super interesting. It's very identifiable as Turkish music, I think, of what little I know about that. I mean, it certainly sounds Middle Eastern, but it sounds very black metal too. It's very angular and complex. The session drummer also played in Scaff, Chaos Moon, Guardgester, if I'm not mistaken. So the chops on the drumming is really, really, really awesome. But what a unique thing to find. I didn't know this artist was from Minneapolis, so that's why it was in the bin there. What else? Oh, there were a couple of these sons of bitches. Yeah, you ever heard of Warhammer from Germany? I think, yeah. Kind of a fan. I kind of like how it's like Celtic Frost worship, Hellhammer worship, from a different angle, in a way. And really, like, these are Metal Mind releases, and whenever you find Metal Mind releases on the gold discs, you buy them. Because they're hard to find, They are some of the best sounding releases you'll ever find. Metal Mind just nails it. So even if you're not like crazy about the band, you should pick up Metal Mind releases and give them a shot. Because if you ever find yourself pining for a Metal Mind release, you're probably going to wind up paying quite a bit of money for it. So, yeah, if you're interested in a Celtic Frost sort of worship band, Warhammer is your thing. I listened to them both. I think I like the Doom Messiah more than this one. This appears to be toward the Chapter of Chaos. I don't know if it's a full length or like a demo comp or something, but very obviously borrowing from the Hellhammer Celtic Frost kind of tropes. So I've been doing a little bit of dabbling in the crusty punk kind of stuff. Yeah, we're getting into a new chapter. So there was a dollar bin, and there were about 13 copies of Code 13's complete discography, 94 to 2000. 50 songs in all. I don't know much about this label, Havoc. I feel like I've seen this kind of around. I've seen Havoc Records stuff over the years. But this was pretty fantastic. It reminded me quite a bit of Drop Dead, which I like because it sounds like some good grind. I loved this, but the thing about a lot of Crust kind of stuff that I never connect with is the vocals. Just, is that like what delineates Crust from metal? I don't know. The vocals just sound like an angry dad. Just, it's the stupidest possible thing that I should have to explain the difference in like metal screaming versus Crust screaming. It's fucking stupid. So I won't spend much more time doing that. That's all I got from Extreme Noise, I believe. Yeah, that wasn't cheap. But also went to Cheapo Records, my favorite record store in all of the world that I've been to. And picked up a few things. Since I kind of went nuts at Extreme Noise, I didn't get much. But what I did find was pretty good. This Oniric Casket Dream Veneration came out in 2015. This is it's weird. Really, really bizarre black metal. Maybe from Belgium? I don't know. Look it up. But, yeah. Marty recommended this to me because he thought it kind of sounded like Vedboen Zen kind of riffing. And I hear that for sure. It's very, very, very weird. By the way, speaking of Vedboen Zen, yesterday, a podcast episode that I was pleased to be a part of was released. So I'm kind of doing some podcast episodes of Screaming Invisible Oranges with the Invisible Oranges crew. And yesterday the episode dropped where we talked to Vikotnik of Dodemsgard. That was a thrill. It's a great episode, and the new Dodemsgard album is stunning. I'm kind of blown away. I'm really blown away by the new Dodemsgard album. So I'm looking forward to everybody hearing that. I don't know. I'm going to hold back my thoughts on the new Dodemsgard because I will go on for a long, long time. So I visited Cheapo with my good friend Dave. Shout out to Dave. Love you, man. He recommended this Chrome to me. Now, Chrome's not new to me. I have like a 2 EP compilation thing. But I've never really gotten more into Chrome, sadly. And he said this is like his favorite US black metal full length ever. And I just felt like we're friends. We connect on a ton of black metal, but I don't have your favorite US black metal album in my collection. Let's fucking solve that. So, The Haunting Presence by Chrome. Really, really good. Really good. I wouldn't say it's my favorite US black metal release, but it's great. It's really melancholic, minimalistic kind of. I've always thought that Crumb kind of had like echoes of Catatonia, early Catatonia. I'm not so sure I'm hearing that here. Maybe I'm misremembering that somewhat. I don't know, but definitely requires some more spins, and I'll follow up on that some more. Picked up this fucking banger. I never expected to find this sealed in a bin, but Cheapo fucking delivers. I love you, Cheapo, because you bring me the Chasm. Procession to the Infraworld. Sadly, didn't have this in my collection. This was one of the holes in my collection by the Chasm, and I think don't most people kind of consider this the best Chasm full length, if not that last year album that came out. Holy shit, Scars the thing. So yeah, I think this is out of print. Came out 23 fucking years ago. Can't believe it. And I'm not sure. I may have, spun this maybe twice over the years. Spun the MP3s or YouTube or whatever. But this crushed me. I am going to be cranking this thing very, very loudly as often as I find time to do so. That thing just wow. I don't know, this is a weird one. Also picked up When the Black Death. This is some very, very obscure, very old, nor weird kind of things. How do I tell you what When is? So, if you know, tell you what, visual aid time. So, the intro to this great album was done by When. And it is, so that intro was from the album Svartedauen, I believe. When were weird from day one. They're kind of like Coil. They're kind of like a Norwegian Coil, but maybe even more weird. Thumb through this booklet a little bit. It's got a lot of kind of infamous Kittelsen drawings, which, I don't know, would make you think that this is a lot less weird than it actually is. I don't know. I've just kind of always been a Fairweather fan of When, and it's time to pick up something from them. So this is one of their earlier albums from '92. This was the original pressing of it, and it was $8. So it's a lot of like samples. It's kind of like loosely constructed music put together, collaged together with strange samples of speaking, movie soundtracks, original sounds. It's kind of a whole thing. And When have a ton of albums. Their discography is just a mile long. They're kind of like an institution of Norway's weird music. So that's all I picked up from Cheapo, I believe. But Dave is such a beautiful man that he imparted upon me 2 gems that are fucking awesome. The Crypt did this one non-dirty. This is Sacred Sin with Dark Side. I haven't spun the second disc. It's a lot of demos. This came out in 2018. I have seen this around here and there. Thought it looked good. I mean, that really, like, if you know how to look at good albums, you would know that this is probably good from looking at it. Am I right? I want to say Pat Salem also was touting this guy a couple years ago or something, and I knew it was good, but I just never got around to picking it up. But Dave delivered and got me this thing, dude. So this came out in '93 originally, and I want to say they're French. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't bother correcting me. I'm probably wrong. This was so good. Another one of those albums that's like late thrash, early death. A lot of kind of weird additional things that are not typical of this kind of thing going on. But man, it's memorable, catchy, riffy, super well produced. It's one of those, like, the Crypt just knows how to find albums that you should already love and should have been in love with for 20 years. I love the Crypt reissues. So, another release that I had seen a lot of people talk about last year. I knew it sounded amazing, just kind of never got around to dipping in on it, getting a copy of it. I don't know, just kind of fell by the wayside, but I'm really glad that Dave picked this up. Y'all ever heard about this Suppression? God, I'm just dying here with the reflections. There you go. The Sorrow of Soul Through Flesh. Gave this one listen, and I don't really know what to tell you about it. I know that my mind was fucking shredded into pieces of shit afterwards, but I am going to have to go through and listen to this again and again and again and again and again to, like, really tease out what it's like, to tell you guys what it's like. But it's fucking great. Grindy death metal from South America. Is it old school? Is it new school? It's kind of a little bit of both. But, dude, don't sleep on this. This is fantastic. I think a lot of people were calling this like a top 10 album of last year, so I don't know why I didn't wind up picking it up sooner. Just 2 more CDs. Here's a bootleg of Svartsen Andens Melancholy. This is a Norwegian band, not the Swedish Svartsen. This was originally released, I believe, on 12-inch, back in 95. And it's like Norwegian doom. It's awesome. It's awesome, trust me. Another holdover from the Majesties stream where... No, actually, Tanner mentioned this in the forthcoming Majesties podcast episode that I did with Invisible Oranges, where he talked about this, I think. The band is called Auberon. Auberon. Come on, honey. Whatever. The Tale of Black. I spun maybe about half of this or so and got distracted, but super riffy, very cheesy, Swedish death metal from 98. Came out on Black Mark. Again, that's another label. You always pick up Black Mark. You pick up Black Mark releases if you ever find them used. A lot of them suck, but you just do it. Okay. I think the cremation might be over, but we're going to get into some vinyl. So, let's just start with this. This is a bootleg. We're getting into the days where I own everything, so I have to buy bootlegs of things that I don't own. Fantastically done version. Kind of. Did Craig do this? Anybody know? Good job, Craig, if it's you. Yeah. Nuclear War Now had copies of this. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sold out, but I also wouldn't be surprised if you can still get copies of it. I don't know. Alright, the macaroni has ended, so I am playing Dark Side, Sacred Sin. Dig into it, okay? A couple more vinyl, then I'll get out of your hair. So, I don't know, 3-4 years ago or so, Eric Bauer picked up a copy of this, and I was really jelly. So I bought a bootleg CD version of this last year, which kind of tided me over because the OG CD of this kind of goes for like $30 to $50, and that's because it's good. But this is a 2015 vinyl reissue done by, who are you? Minotauro Records. Don't know that label. But I kind of had a phase last year where Ritual was my shit. And that's because they're great. Southern California, very, very early black metal, like 93. What's up? You got some facts on you? 94. Close enough. And so, yeah, usually copies of this are pretty hard to come up with, but the seller, for some reason, is it on here? Yeah. All right, so the seller was selling this for like $30, I think, on Discogs, and the reason is because there's a spider pressed into the vinyl. I'm not sure this will show up or not. Spider, this is your chance to be famous. I don't know. Yeah, it plays fine. I thought that was kind of a cool feature. It comes with a free spider. Yeah, how about that? Did I show this already? I don't know. I picked this up a couple of months ago. It's beat to hell, and that's the only way I would want to own this copy on vinyl. I've seen several copies of this in used bins that were beat to living tar, but this was in decent enough shape that I finally picked it up. I love this album to death, and it's weird that I've never had it on vinyl, I guess. It's just, I've had it on tape for years, had it on CD for years. In fact, so I was a lover of Part 2 for many, many years, and I did an interview with Simon from Balsagoth in 99, I think, 98, something like that. And he talked about Part 1 being a huge influence, and I was like, God damn it, why haven't I picked this up yet? And I got it, and I loved Part 1 as equally as Part 2, and I always have. So, 25 years later, I buy a copy of it on LP. Also, I don't know, did I show this? Kind of a recent acquisition last year. The band is called Duma, and this is a African project with two guys. They have toured here to Iowa twice in the last year. Cool dudes. This is like harsh noise, kind of. No, it's not really harsh noise. It's kind of like industrial black metal with a lot of just kind of noisy, weird, tribal sort of remixy sort of stuff. It's a ton of things. There's a lot of kind of black metal adjacent kind of styles. It's like they may have like sampled some black metal here and there. But I really love the artwork on the cover. It's a real kind of mind fuck listen. But it's, I don't know. I feel like you could tell me that description and I would go, I probably wouldn't like it. But I like this. I dig it. Yeah. Saw him live last year. Melanie, I don't know, I should probably be careful showing this one. Melanie from Born Dead Collection, Melanie Loves Death Metal, sold me this. You know what this is. I haven't spun this yet. This, Chronic Corpora Infest. Yeah. I missed out on the original sales of that thing when it came out, and Melanie had it, and Melanie comes through every time. Let's see. Picked up one of the two Ulthar LPs. Anthronomicon, is that the one? Nope, Helionomicon. Sorry. Also picked this up from Melanie. I love you, Melanie. Okay, found this out in the wild. Can't believe I found this. OG Press. And I got Antichrist by Acheron. It was $40. Merciless Press. / Moribund. I don't know. It was licensed from Moribund to Merciless. I love Acheron. I fucking love Acheron. I don't care what you say. Yes, they're generic death metal. What is wrong with generic death metal, you guys? Quit being a bunch of uppity losers. R.I.P. to the little man on guitar. But man, I love this record. Rites of the Black Mass and this one are my favorites. I was in this podunk stupid record store that I sometimes kind of go in and fuck around with. And so they have a metal section, and there's metal vinyl in there, and there's like new releases of metal vinyl, and it's like Slayer, Testament, Overkill, and Iron Maiden reissues, and whatever. And so this was sitting in the non-metal LP section out in the everywhere, and I was just kind of leaving the store, and I was just kind of like, just taking a couple of little, strums, and this thing just appeared, and I was like, whew. I can't believe it. So, yeah, there's too many intros between each song. I don't give a fuck. This record's perfect. Fuck the ways of Christ. What more do you want? It's if you want to piss your parents off, and your parents are the people who are dumb enough to be pissed off by that kind of thing, that's what you play them. And I don't know. I got this. It's great. Duh. Love these guys. Carl here, who I ran into at the Death Show. Hey, Carl. Love you, man. Carl here was in a band a long time ago called Threadbare. Feeling Older Faster. It's kind of... I don't know. I feel like this is kind of hardcore. It really doesn't sound like hardcore to me, though. I don't know. It's angry teenager music, but it's not exactly metal. It's not very riffy. It's more just kind of like chud, 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 chud kind of stuff. It's not my wheelhouse kind of thing, but since Carl's a buddy of mine, and I've just been like, swimming in the mass that is Fast Reaches Unclaimed, picked that up for $4. So check that out if that interests you. So we're caught up now, I believe. I got more LPs coming in the mail any minute now. Hope you're all well. Goodbye. Woohoo! That was a great video, and it was made possible mostly by me, but also thanks to the undying and kind support of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you all. I love you. If you are interested in being a part of my Patreon channel and supporting what I do, you are welcome to join at the URL below. It is only $6.66 per month, and you're going to love it. Thank you.